Think of a person who is almost everything that an ordinary human would dream of: intelligence, money, fame, and a prestigious image in society. But that's not all I wanted. Even though I achieved all this at the very young age of 25, I'm far from being the happiest person in the world. It feels as if a part of me is missing. Even with everything I once wished for, I've failed to achieve the one thing that stands as the most crucial element of my life. Beneath the mask of pseudo-happiness, somewhere deep within, my soul is quietly mourning. I'm Shlok, a well-known physicist at the Raman Research Institute and a part-time solopreneur, or as some would say, a social media influencer. I don't know where to begin, but I feel like it all started when I was in my higher secondary studies in Bangalore. I've always been good at academics. I wouldn't say I was the best, but I could easily compete with the brightest minds. It was during the second semester of Class 11 that a small but unforgettable chapter of my life began. One day, our school hosted its annual function. I was scheduled to give a speech. Honestly, I was quite nervous before stepping onto the stage, but once I started speaking, the inertia of confidence carried me through. I was relieved and happy when I saw that many people in the audience seemed to relish my speech. As I stepped down the stairs, I heard a feminine voice from behind. "Your speech was very delightful. It seems like everyone loved it." I turned to see her, a familiar face, but one I had never spoken to before. "Yeah, I suppose," I replied with a polite smile. Then, I hesitated and asked, "But what about you?" "Pretty much," she answered, pausing briefly before continuing. "You're Shlok, aren't you? The boy who's always nosy about strange things that no one else cares about and that are of no use. Or so they say." "Yeah, that's me," I said with a shrug. Then, with a mischievous grin, I added, "And if I'm not mistaken, you're Arya." The girl with nuts in her head, her eyes widened. "What?" Nothing," I muttered, suddenly embarrassed. She smirked. "Maybe you've heard right about me," she replied, her tone teasing but calm. This time, I countered her remark with a decent smile. She returned the same smile, turned around, and rejoined her friends. I knew her, or at least I thought I did. Arya had always been more mysterious than anyone else I'd ever met. Although we were in the same class, we'd hardly spoken before that day. I didn't take her seriously at first. I assumed she was just another eccentric person whose quirks I wouldn't understand. Days turned into weeks, and as the seasons changed, so did my thoughts about her. Little by little, I began to notice things about Arya that I couldn't ignore. One of the strangest memories I have of her happened on an ordinary school day. She tried to greet me with a warm smile when she saw me in the corridor. I was about to respond when her friend suddenly appeared beside her. Without a word, she turned away as if nothing had happened. It left me puzzled. Why did she act that way? I couldn't tell if Arya was intentionally avoiding me or if she was just shy. But every time our paths crossed, I felt the same tug of curiosity about her. She was unlike anyone else, and though I didn't realize it back then, she was about to leave an indelible mark on my life.